I don't know if you've ever watched your whole life turn to ash right in front of you, but let's just say my 30s felt like one endless bonfire divorce, custody battles, lawyers draining my savings like vampires in designer suits. And the final punchline, my ex-wife ran off with the guy who used to mow our lawn. Yeah, that happened. There I was, picking up the pieces, left with nothing but an old pickup, a toolbox, and visitation with my boys, so supervised it felt like I was on parole for the crime of existing. 6 months vanished in a haze of bourbon and self-pity. I quit shaving, stopped answering calls, crashed on a buddy's couch down in North Carolina, barely going through the motions until that letter arrived. Turns out, the only man who ever taught me what it meant to work me grandfather was gone, and he left me 80 wild acres way out in Orange County, so far past the pavement you start to wonder if your GPS is just making stuff up. No lawyers, no ex, no HOA, just me in the woods. That's when I made the call, right there with a whiskey in my hand. If I was going to build my life back, it was going to be with my own 2 hands. I didn't have the cash for contractors or even power lines that first year. All I had was time, tools, and a whole lot of rage looking for somewhere to go. So I cleared a patch, poured the foundation, and built myself a real house, stone and cedar, not some prefab box with granite counters and zero soul. Somewhere along the line, Cody wandered into my life. Just showed up one morning skinny, scrappy, part shepherd, part lab, all attitude, with a rusted tag that just said Cody. I tossed him some jerky, and he decided I was tolerable. Every morning we worked on the land. Every night we sat on the stars, him chewing sticks, me wishing I could see my boys more than once a week. Didn't even bother exploring all 80 acres stuck close to the house. The rest of its steep ridges, pine and kudzu, I figure I'd get to someday. But nothing's ever that simple. It was a Wednesday, bright and cold. I was hauling wood out back, Cody barking at squirrels like they owed him money, when I heard the crunch of tires on gravel. Too precise, too clean. Matte black SUV, windows tinted like it belonged in a mob movie. And out stepped this woman, tall, platinum blonde, suit sharp enough to cut wind, heels like she was daring the mud to fight her. She didn't ask, just handed me a folder like she was serving a warrant. You're residing in violation of rigorous HOA zoning standards. I laughed, thought she was joking. Lady, I'm not in your HOA. She barely flinched. The land may have been annexed last year. You have 14 days to vacate. Take it up with the county. Then she turned, heels clicking, and vanished in a puff of smog. You ever feel your heart just drop? 14 days to leave my own home. I've fought through hell to build this life back. And here comes some paper queen telling me it's not mine anymore. That night, I called my lawyer Paul, voice like syrup, brain like a steel trap. Send me everything, he said, and by morning he had a team digging through deeds, maps, county files. 2 days later, he called, you better sit down for this. Turns out, this HOA president, Karen Atwood, had filed a petition to annex my land with a forged approval letter, probably with help from someone inside the county office. If it's what I think, it's fraud. Felony level. My blood went ice cold. Paul's team brought in drones, mapped out every inch, matched every property line to the old plat map my grandfather kept stashed. It was airtight. I was not even a foot inside HOA territory. But then, out on the edge of the property where I never went, we spotted something strange. A 2-story villa, modern, red roof, solar panels, a whole damn pool deck. I didn't build it. Hell, I didn't even know it was there. I grabbed a flashlight, took Cody, and hiked through underbrush until I stood face to face with a sign that read Atwood Retreat. My land. Her house. That's when I found the bunker keypad, ventilation, hidden under a storage shed. Inside was a shrine to fraud. Boxes of files, hard drives, forged documents, even an eviction calculator, and a noise violation generator. But the best part? Karen had a habit of recording herself talking about how nobody would ever find out, bragging to someone off camera about taking control of my land. And just when I thought this couldn't get crazier, I remember the harness camera I'd strapped on Cody for a few days. Turns out, while I was out buying lumber, he'd wandered over to Karen's retreat and caught her on camera, giving a tour to some couple, saying, oh, this is all rigorous expansion territory, no one will challenge it. Her face, her voice, the whole scheme, all from the point of view of a nosy mutt. Paul nearly spilled his coffee. Do you know how rare it is to get this kind of evidence? From a dog. We backed up everything external drives, cloud, flash drives taped under the toilet. Karen, meanwhile, pushed for expedited enforcement. Said my house was an unauthorized structure and Cody was an animal threat. That was a joke. Cody was more likely to befriend a raccoon than bite anyone, unless you threaten me. Paul filed a motion, we got a hearing, and even submitted the dog cam footage. Let the tail do the talking, Paul said, grinning. The day before court, Paul noticed something off on Karen's annexation map. The GPS coordinates were pasted from some farm 2 towns over. She'd copied the wrong base map, tried to steal land with a document built on someone else's field. That night, Cody got a steak. He'd earned it. 2 days before the hearing, a work crew showed up with a forged demolition order. Said they were there to tear my house down by court order. I called Paul and the sheriff. By the time Karen stormed onto my property in heels and fury, waving her phone and screaming for my arrest, the sheriff was right behind her. We've reviewed your documentation, he told her calmly, and what you're doing is unauthorized entry and attempted property damage. Also, your notary signed this order 2 years after he died. That's called forgery. When she accused Cody of attacking the crew, Dalton, the sheriff, just shook his head. Ma'am, that's not aggression. That's home defense. Then, to a deputy cuffer, Karen screamed, ranted about lawsuits and property terrorism, but the game was over. The work crew disappeared. One of them even testified that Karen paid in cash with forged paperwork. Later, the county prosecutor reviewed everything: fake maps, video from Cody, the secret bunker, even video diaries where Karen ranted about soft targets and bribing officials. But what really made it real, buried deep in one of those drives, we found a catalog of families Karen had targeted, 34 names, dates, fake violations, even scanned letters from people begging for more time, asking for mercy. She didn't just bully people for power, she broke lives. The story blew up online. Someone leaked the body cam footage, standing with Cody as Karen got arrested. Justice Dog started trending. Memes of Cody in sunglasses. People made t-shirts. Paul joked, I was the face of the anti-HOA movement. I just wanted my life back. Karen's lawyers tried every trick, claimed the evidence was illegal, that Cody's footage violated privacy. The judge laughed. Karen's bail was denied, and then the state came knocking. Not only had she built her villa without permits, but it bordered a protected watershed, another felony. I got the order to demolish it. I didn't gloat, didn't say a word, just hit the button and watched the walls fall. Cody hopped out, peed on the last pile, and we went home. With Karen behind bars, her HOA fell apart, even faked the election to make herself president. Neighbors dissolved the HOA, sued for damages, and the local news aired her meltdown side by side with Cody calmly sitting like a fluffy judge. The real heartbreak was finding out how many families she destroyed, the lengths she'd go: fake affidavits, forged violations, even trying to drug Cody with tainted treats. He never touched them. Smartest damn dog I ever met. A year later, my land finally felt like mine again. The house became a real home. Neighbors started coming by. Kids played fetch with Cody. I built a dog park where Karen's palace once stood Cody's field. First Sunday in June, we held Cody Day dogs everywhere, people laughing, for once not worried about what color their mailbox was. A woman thanked me for standing up. Her little girl hugged Cody like he was Santa. On the way home, Cody stopped at the stone marker where Karen's retreat used to stand, sniffed, and peed. Full circle. So yeah, sometimes the world will try to mow you down, but if you got a good dog, a stubborn lawyer, and a little backbone, you can watch the bad guys crumble for once. If you've ever tangled with an HOA nightmare, drop your story in the comments. Let's see how many more Karens are out there. And if you ever need a reminder that justice is possible, just remember sometimes the hero is the one with muddy paws.